we're really excited for players that play here all the time get to play in the event, even if they're not looking to play on the pro series. And it really helps develop them and learn how to play against people that they don't play against on a daily basis. They play against people that are traveling from New York, Chicago, all over the place just to play in this event.
Where do you find a family of communities connected by the storied Mississippi River, where young explorers and dreamers, investors and entrepreneurs thrive? Where can you connect with real people living and creating in a place that's as genuine as it is quirky? QC. That's where.
Welcome to QC That's Where. I'm your host, Katrina, and I'm so pumped today to be talking to Dylan Wiemers, the club director at the QC Tennis Club. Dylan, what's going on? How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, oh my gosh, absolutely. I'm doing great, and we've been buzzing a lot over here at Visit Quad Cities about the Professional Pickleball Association Challenger Series that's coming up in August with you guys. So right now it's early July of 2025. So if you're listening in the future, hello. But I wanted to sit down with Dylan today and just kind of chat about, Dylan, everything that kind of makes you you as like a tennis guy, but also, a quad citizen. And we need to dig into all the exciting things happening at the tennis club too. So I want to start with just a little bit about you and your role. If you could just kind of give us the backdrop of what is your day to day with the QC Tennis Club.
Yeah, so to start, kind of, a little bit about myself is I grew up in this area, grew up in Coal Valley, and played tennis my whole life. Started playing when I was in middle school, and I fell in love with it ever since. I actually came here as a kid to train and develop as a player. And once I, got to a certain level, I started to reach out to some colleges and ended up at Luther College in Decorah, Iowa, where I played 4 years of tennis out there. So that was a great fundamental part of my life of learning how to play tennis, but also, being around this area and learning how special tennis is to this community.
What was that like playing competitively, but also like preparing yourself for a career in this industry?
Yeah, I mean, competitive tennis has a lot of fundamental aspects that can help you as a not only a tennis player, but also as just a human being, learning to, develop lifelong skills, lifelong friendships that, last your whole life. And I'm really, happy that I was able to play college tennis because it taught me a lot more than, what it wouldn't have taught me. I learned how to be resilient. I learned how to be motivated, and really time management skills is, a huge thing in obviously the work industry. So, it was a really good feeling to be able to shift from being a, college athlete to, still being in the tennis industry, but learning how to run a tennis club rather than just playing tennis.
When did you start at the tennis club?
So I started here right after COVID in 2021.
Mhm.
I've been here for 4, 5 years now. First 4 years, I was more doing some on-court stuff with, helping out some classes and doing some park board programs and stuff like that. And that's when I kind of fell in love with, being and teaching tennis, just learning how to develop kids and making them better tennis players. But also, I fell in love with the management side of it, of learning how to control what happens on the court, learning what programs to run, what tournaments to run, and all that, fun stuff that goes along with my job.
What have been like the biggest lessons along the way as far as what works, what doesn't? What do people gravitate to?
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson that I've learned so far is, being able to listen to the community and listen to the members and what they want. Because at the end of the day, it's not me that's going out there to play, it's the members in the community. So just, getting the feedback from them and really listening to them is a huge part of my job, and building connections with tennis and pickleball members to see what, I can do to better, enhance the club experience. And that's a big part of, what I do.
So let's talk in the pickleball realm for a little bit. So I think I personally became aware that pickleball was even a thing, maybe in like 2014, maybe. And so when did you start seeing it really come on the scene?
Yeah, so I was around the same time, 2014, 2015 is when I saw people start playing it with the setup nets that you kind of set up. I didn't really start to see designated pickleball courts until, 5 or 6 years later. But that's really when, after COVID, is really when that big push of pickleball really started to, come out. And that's when I started to play as well, especially, playing tennis all the time. It translates very well to the pickleball sport. It's the same motions and stuff like that. So I really fell in love with the sport right after college. It was easy for me to translate and, compete with players I've been playing for 5 to 10 years. So, I mean, that really helped me out. And playing in some fundraiser tournaments, Crime Stoppers, and some stuff like that, it really helps out with, you know, building the community and trying to do what you can to, get to know everyone that plays pickleball in the Quad Cities.
Okay, so to kind of to kind of help develop the pickleball need, the itch that everybody's kind of got to at least try it or form a league or, just get out there and play with buddies or whatever. Like, what have you guys had to do to the QC Tennis Club to start accommodating?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 2021, we noticed the urge of people to start playing a lot of pickleball. And when that happened, we knew it was a great idea to turn in three of our tennis courts to nine indoor pickleball courts. Once we did that, it was a game changer for the community, for us, and everyone that wasn't part of it. We get so many people that come in here for pickleball on a daily basis, and they really have a good time. And the one aspect of pickleball that we try to make people feel is just to have fun with it. That's how you get people to come back is they bring their friends, they bring, people that they know really well, and they just have fun out there. It really doesn't matter who wins and loses when you just start picking up a paddle for the first time, but are you able to have fun and, have a social aspect as well as, being competitive as well. So there's the best thing about the sport is there's different ways to play it. It's kind of like golf where you can play it just for fun, but you can also play it very seriously and competitively, as we've seen. The PPA tour has really taken over the past 3 years. So,
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so the Professional Pickleball Association Challenger Series, you guys are our host venue. It's something that Visit Quad Cities recruited and pursued and went after, and we got it, and here it's coming. And so, what is it going to mean for the tennis club to be the host venue and, the place where all of these pros and novices are meeting for this event? Tell me just what does this mean for you guys and what's it going to look like?
well, one, it's really cool just to see some of the top players play in front of your eyes. When you go to a pro event, you're kind of starstruck by how good the level is compared to what you're usually seeing on a daily basis. So that's the number one thing is just being able to see some of those top guys compete against each other is something that, you know, is really exciting to look forward to. Um, the summertime in the Quad Cities is a great time for, the John Deere Classic is happening right now, and that gets a lot of tourist attraction in the Quad Cities. But I'm really excited to bring another event in August that can do the same thing as well as the John Deere Classic of providing a watch party and people that haven't played pickleball before or that are avid pickleball players in the Quad Cities to just come out and see what the pro circuit is like for a different sport that they haven't seen in this area before. So.
So, kind of school me on how a tournament like this works because it's not just professionals, but like people locally can come and play too.
Yep, that's exactly right. So there's two different events. There's a, open division and then there's a pro division. The open division ranges from all skill levels 3-0 to 5-0, and then the pro division is 5-5 and above. And we're really excited for players that play here all the time get to play in the event, even if they're not looking to play on the pro series. And it really helps develop them and learn how to play against people that they don't play against on a daily basis. They play against people that are traveling from New York, Chicago, all over the place just to play in this event. So it really helps out. And we've never hosted a tournament with this many players that are expected to come. So, as far as the tournament desk side and the management side of the tournament, we're really, it's very new for us, and we're really excited to see, how they run a tournament with, 400 players in it. It's gonna be really cool to see how they do it, and we'll learn a lot of things from it, and we're really excited for it.
On like the registration side, how does someone who's kind of, maybe they're newer, maybe they're just trying to like get their skill up, like how do they know whether or not this would be right for them to register for?
Yeah, so mainly everyone that plays pickleball goes through this app called Duper. It's basically how you rate yourself. And you're rated from a 1-0 to, a 7-0. And once you play in a tournament or two, you get your own rating. And once you get your own rating, you know what level you're at and you know what division to sign up for. And the PPA has a lot of resources out there that help you figure out what division will be best for you at the end of the day. So, the PPA does a lot for it, and also just looking online, seeing what skills you have, it will help you out a lot and determine what division you should play in.
I feel like pickleball right now is, I mean, maybe this isn't the right term, but it's almost like a sleeping giant. Like
Mhm.
it's been creeping up on us for the last decade. I still have yet to play it, but I think I have a conversation about pickleball like at least twice a week right now. And it's not just because of the Challenger series, but like people in the office they play and everybody knows someone who plays and like all of our in the Quad Cities, all of our, parks and rec departments are expanding their tennis courts to accommodate pickleball. Like if you pick up a destination guide or if you look at like visit Quad Cities pickleball information online. Like you see, the what used to be a traditional tennis court is now also a pickleball court, 9 times out of 10. So they're everywhere. And it's super fun. It's super fun that it's one of those things, like you said earlier, you have fun with it. Kind of anybody can play, and it's something that everyone can pick up and give a shot to. So we're excited to see it. The PPA Challenger Series is coming to you guys August 15th through 17th. So again, if you're listening and that date has not yet come upon us, please register. We've got ppatourqc.com set up so that you can learn a little bit more about how to register, what this is going to look like. There's also volunteers needed. So I also want to like give a little congratulations to you guys at the QC Tennis Club because you've made a huge investment in new courts. And so can you walk us through, maybe if someone hasn't been to your facility in a year or more, what's different now if they come today or in a month?
Yeah, well, to start, probably 20 to 30% of the people that come down here for the first time, they don't even know that it existed. It's kind of hidden behind South Park Mall. So, a lot of people are like, oh, I've never seen this facility, because it's not right off the main street. But no, we've made a lot of improvements within the Quad City Tennis Club within the past 5 years. A bunch of renovations inside, along with two outdoor hard tennis courts outside. And then our newest project is building three grass courts to the left of our building that we're really excited for. And that will be a great time. We're just, taking it step by step and just learning as we go. So, a lot of renovations and, it couldn't be happier with what we've done here. And I know the community is really happy about, some of the things that we have done. And we're really excited to bring some, more events like this to this area just because of the facility that we have.
hmm Yeah, just being able to house more opportunities and kind of fit in those different niches, age groups, what have you. And, you said you guys do like lessons, you work with youth. So you've got the whole gamut of age, skill level, the whole thing. I'm super excited for you guys. So how long has the tennis club been around?
Yeah, so the tennis club has been around for 50 years. It was built in 1974, 1975. Um, and it's really taken over, with just starting with tennis and then now it's tennis and pickleball. So we've seen a lot of growth in both aspects, not just the pickleball side. We've also seen a growth in the tennis ability of playing. And, we see, just like you said, age range from 5 years old to 80 years old. So we see all ranges of play, and it couldn't make us happier of getting everyone involved. And at the end of the day, it's just playing and taking a healthy step in the right direction. So
50 years is nothing to shake a finger at. That is so exciting. That's such a big milestone. So, congratulations again to all of you on, sticking around and being such a staple for that long to this community. The Quad Cities is such a boomerang place. Like a lot of times we see people, leave after high school or, shortly after college and go do something somewhere else. But then a lot of times we see people come back.
mhm.
And, I'd imagine with, such a legacy place and something that everybody has some kind of ingrainment into, whether you were a kid taking lessons or you went to a tournament at one point or something. I imagine people probably come back from having been a kid at the QC Tennis Club and then they come back today and go, oh my gosh,
Yep.
wow, this place has really, really changed, really grown.
Yeah, even seeing pictures of when I first started coming, probably 15 years ago to now, it's a night and day difference, but just between, the outside part of it and also the inside, it's crazy to see. And, I'm really thankful to be a part of the whole process. So.
So you've been with them 4 or 5 years now. So, kind of in that time, do you have a highlight moment or something that sticks out to you just in those 4 or 5 years?
I think my highlight moment is just the people that I've met throughout the journey of being here. The community is great, and being able to be a part of it, and just learning and building connections that I never thought I would build is just something that I'm so thankful for. Just because the more people you know, and the more people that you are connected to, the better it will make you as a person, and the more you will know. So I'm really excited about who I still have to meet, and I'm really excited for the process of this whole tournament as well.
So let's back it up. College years before, all the way back to when you started as a kid, from all of your years playing tennis and studying it and learning it and just immersing. Do you have a highlight moment through all those years?
I think my one highlight moment throughout my tennis career would be um, in college. It was my sophomore year, and we were playing in a meet, and it was 4-4. I was a deciding match, and I ended up, pulling through for the team, and it was just a great experience for me, but also just learning how to, be on a high for so long, and my teammates were awesome, and it was just a great moment in time, and I'll remember it forever. So I think that was my one moment.
Oh my God. It's always those moments where it's like, it's up to you, Dylan.
Yeah,
This is
it's a lot of
it.
pressure, I'll tell you that.
Would you get nervous or were you just amped on
Oh
like
yeah.
adrenaline?
It was adrenaline, but I was shaking, and it was just something that, you don't get in that position many times. So when you do, you can't prepare yourself for it just because it's just in the moment. But, you just gotta get those nerves away and just play. So
And those are the things that stick out, the things that like do drum up the most like pressure and anxiety at the moment. That's what you're going to remember later. Um, and kind of like you were saying, the connectivity that you have made, just people that you've met through the sport and through what you're doing in your career. I mean, that means everything, and so many people can relate, even if the people you encounter like didn't compete in college, but they have some kind of, you know, they have some kind of connection to a sport, or they have some kind of history with whether they were, track and field or baseball or what have you, that athlete kind of connection is it's so special and it's so like widespread. You can kind of relate regardless of which aspect you've been into. So, it is really cool to think back and just look at how much people, how much people like, spend time and energy and cheer each other on. And so it's cool to see it all kind of happen here. The Quad Cities tennis, obviously, pickleball, obviously, are huge, but we've got so many like tentacles out in the sports world. So like our sports commission, sports QC, always recruiting, always working and trying to make the sports landscape in the Quad Cities absolutely top-notch premier. And places like, TBK Bank Sports Complex have offered even more places for people to compete and youth to come and families to get introduced to the Quad Cities. It's a great segue for people to just kind of learn about, the people in the community or what the community has to offer in the sports world, but also like outside the sports world. So, when you bring people into the QC, whether it's friends or family or whatever, if you're talking to someone from out of town, do you have any like highlight things that you recommend they do while they're in town, or do you have a favorite like Quad City thing that you like to spend time doing?
yeah, so I come from a sports family, and everything that I do, most of the time is related to something that has to do with the sport, either watching or playing a sport. Actually, this weekend, my cousins are coming in town for the classic, and there's so many nice golf courses around here. That's really what I like to do is go golf, and that's one of the highlights of the Quad Cities is the golf courses are very pristine, in great shape, and there's so many of them that you can choose from, along with the casinos in town and some other stuff that really the food. There's so much that I can say about the Quad Cities, and I'm really glad that as a sports fanatic, it's really growing as a sports community as well. So that's one thing that I really like to bring here and show them. One, this facility, going to a River Bandits game, going to a Storm game. It's just something that you can't really take for granted because, when you go to a town that like Decorah, who doesn't have a sports team, you come back here and you're like, all right, I'm really happy here, and I'm really happy that we have the sports community that we have.
That was a really good list. Like that was a
Yep.
packed weekend of
Yep.
activity. That was a
Yep.
great list. I think it's so easy when you live here for 5 or more years, honestly. Like it's easy to take for granted all of the sports teams, the opportunities, even the natural assets we have, Mississippi River. We drive by it every single day. I mean,
Yep.
it's one of the largest rivers in the world and it's so vast and it does so much and it's just, oh hey, Mississippi River. It's in
We
our
take it for
backyard.
granted for sure. Yeah.
My
Yep.
thing when I have like family or friends or whatever come into town, I always tout oh, you can like get between Iowa and Illinois in, 10 minutes or less. Like literally anywhere in the Quad Cities is under a 20-minute drive. And the fact that we don't have to deal with traffic and commute times is everything to me. And I love
Exactly.
that so much. And then, oh, here, if you're listening to the audio version, I'm gonna explain to you my shirt that I'm wearing. It's one of our newer pieces of merch. It's Quad Cities Creative Capital of the Midwest. And so that's another like huge asset that, we can argue very strongly with, the Figgy's new lighting structure, Evanescent Field, the QC Art Trail. We have over 100 public art sculptures and murals and entities that people can consume and look at and enjoy while they're here. So we just have so much. And thanks for that amazing list to just cherry on top everything the Quad Cities has to offer. Um, Round it back to PPA tour coming here. So one or two things that we want to get people to be thinking about as August approaches. If you want to talk maybe registration or just watching, what couple things would you like to let people know about it?
Yeah, well, one, I know in August, early August, mid-August, hotels fill up very quickly in this area. So, if you are looking to come down for the PPA Challenger, book your hotel as soon as possible, just because, the rooms do book very easily. So that's my one piece of advice. And two is just explore the things that the Quad Cities has that no one else has, like Whitey's, Hunger Hobo, Happy Joe's, that's just three of things that I like, but that are just in this area that you don't get to experience, when you go to Chicago or Des Moines or anything like that. So just experience what the Quad Cities is like while you're here
And if you do go to Hungry Hobo, you've got to get the 11. Personal opinion.
with the cheddar fry.
With the cheddar
Exactly.
fry,
Yep.
absolutely. Okay, I'm glad we're in agreement here.
Yep.
Okay, so per tradition, at the end of this podcast, I always have the guest fill in QC That's Where. So, Dylan, what is your QC That's Where?
QC, that's where community is built.
I
I'll go
love
with that.
it. I stand behind it. I think that's perfect. Okay, so PPA Tour, QC.com, get some information about this awesome Challenger series coming up. Check out the QC Tennis Club. There's so much happening here. You guys have social media that I can throw on our
Yes, we do.
Facebook page?
Yep. QuadCityTennisClub.com.
Amazing.
And
Okay,
same for Facebook and all that. So,
easy to find.
yep, very easy to find.
All right, thanks, Dylan.
Thanks for listening to QC That's Where, a podcast powered by Visit Quad Cities. Text Visit QC to 38314 for insider events, activities, and updates sent straight to your phone. That's VISITQC, one word, to 38314. Message and data rates may apply.